and welcome back to the Real Positive Girl podcast. My name is Sabrina, and happy Thursday, everyone. I hope that you are having an amazing day. If your day has just started, I hope that it's bomb diggity. I hope that it's going really good. If your day is like in the middle of it, at the end, I hope that it was awesome. I hope that it was top notch. Chef's kiss. Oh, amazing. But if it was not, I hope that you found your 5 minutes of time to be alone, find some peace, de-stress, reboot, reset what's going on in your mind, problem solve the crap that's getting up in your way, and be able to enjoy the rest of your day despite where you are at. Remember, if you try to at least come back to a neutral mind and be able to enjoy the rest of your day and not just throw it all away because of a couple things happening, your life will be so much better. Your relationships with people will be much better, and you will actually like yourself more. I guarantee it. So I encourage you to do that. But again, happy Thursday. This week we are talking about patience. It has been great. The episodes have been long. I think that today's episode will be pretty short, but I said that on Monday, and it was longer than I anticipated. So, but I don't really think this one's going to be super long. We'll see. Today we're talking about the benefits of no longer being patient. I know it might seem weird that there are benefits to not being patient, but there are some. So, let's just go ahead and jump right in. Sometimes it's no longer worth it to practice patience for something if your desired outcome is well overdue or you are suffering for no reason. Was it yesterday or all the days? I have mentioned that if you decide to jump into something, despite how much research you've done or not, and then you find out that you're not going to get what you thought you were going to get throughout the process or at the end, or if it actually causes like suffering for you, if it's just not the right fit for you, for your mental health, it's just like driving you crazy, if it's like really hurting the relationships in your life, like you might just need to like not ride it out because you thought that you were going to gain this really, really, really cool thing in the end. And or if it's all based on like, oh, money and that kind of stuff, but it's really just tearing you apart and everything else, you might want to not be patient in that anymore. You might want to just stop and move on. Examples of this are staying at a terrible job for too long, staying in a bad relationship for too long, or even missing out on another opportunity because we waited too long for something else. It's just tough. Like I can literally think of just off the top of my head, a real life example of this for me. So, I used to work at I think in a trauma level 1 hospital. Yeah, it is. I was trying to think of like, I worked at another, in another city at another hospital, but I was like, that wasn't trauma level 1, that was like trauma level 3. But anyway, I used to work at a hospital, and it was like one of the biggest hospitals in the area, and I would check people in to the emergency department, and I enjoyed it because I enjoy like jobs that kind of give high stress, that keep you busy, keep you going, ever changing. That was definitely that job. But then something happened, and I had the opportunity to take on another position that I got paid a lot more money, and I had more opportunities to learn different things and kind of be, I don't know, like kind of elevated in status, we will say. But it was a night shift job. And it wasn't, was it full time? It was full time. Oh yeah, it was like 4 days a week. It was so long ago, guys. But yeah, anyway, I decided to do it because I actually really wanted to do that position, because it was basically, and I still worked in the emergency department, but it was basically having like a game of Tetris going on in your mind. It was like an organizational obsessor's dream, because I was like in charge of the bed flow in the hospital and people checking in on the ER and all that kind of stuff, and I really enjoyed it. However, it was really, and one of the reasons why I did it is because of being elevated in that status and like getting to know the people I was know, because I got to really get close with the administrators of the hospital and that kind of stuff. And then I got paid really well as in addition to that. But the downfall of it was the fact that I worked at night, and I also have a husband, have a child, and I was still working like a side hustle during the day. So it like wreaked complete havoc on my body. And in the end, it ended up not working out. It ended up not being the right fit for me. I was actually really good at my job, but it caused a lot of other havoc in my relationship with my husband and my daughter, and my health, and just the safety of myself, because like getting off work and then coming home, driving home, and then napping for like a half an hour to an hour, getting up to take my child to school, and then still trying to stay awake after only napping, after already working for like a 10-hour shift, to go do some work and then come back and take a couple hours of nap and then get up and go get my kid and then actually be a mom and do all that stuff. Like it wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth the money and any sort of status at the hospital that I was getting. So that's definitely my real world example of just no longer waiting out the patients, because if I had waited out and just continued to be patient, I could have. The whole goal with that is that job, you start on night shift and then you can roll it up to working during the day. And you get paid more at night in the hospital. Like if you've worked in healthcare, generally you get paid more at night, but I still would have gotten paid more during the day because I would have been like the main person doing that job anyway. That was where my patience was coming into play. I was like, okay, well, if I just work this job long enough, and I know that the people currently working in that position during the day, they're thinking about moving on and they're a little bit old, and like like what's going to happen maybe 6-9 months, couple years even down the road. Like I was like, I can just be patient and wait. I like this job. It's working out. I get paid well. It's good. But then it just came to the point where being patient for that, waiting that out, was not worth it anymore. It just wasn't. And then, and this could be, like I said, the examples, it could go off to like a terrible job. Maybe you're just like trying to push yourself to continue working at this terrible job because you'll be able to move up in the ranks and that job will be better and that job will be the job that you wanted to get. Or you're waiting for a raise and this job pays really well, but it's worth it to be like, but you think it's worth it to be like kicked around because you just continually need to like work your way up that ladder of getting paid like so much. In a bad relationship, that's like one of the worst examples, because you don't want to be patient and hope that they're going to change and try to be patient with them and think that things are going to get better if they clearly are only getting worse. It's just something to consider. It's something to think about. An unexpected benefit of being impatient is that you get to learn from any mistakes you may have made from not being patient long enough. Now, this isn't generally what you want, but it's still important to learn from the situation. So, it's just, you get to like take the time to think back to like what you could have done, what you should have done, and maybe you need to plan a little bit more in the future. Maybe you need to break down the steps a little bit better. But it's definitely a benefit that I had to put out there, and I knew that people were going to be like, ugh, like that's not positive. But it's still something that you definitely, that I definitely wanted to like mention. Learning from your mistakes is always a positive opportunity, even if it feels like crap. It's always a positive opportunity, and it'll help you to reflect on, maybe next time I will be patient longer. Maybe it was just right around the corner, or maybe I should have jumped out of that ship a lot sooner and taken my lifeboat to somewhere else. So it just depends on the situation, and being able to look back and reflect and learn and grow from that, total bonus. You will be able to become more patient by reviewing what caused you to become impatient and what to avoid or overcome in the future. So I would say the bottom line of the benefits of not being patient is just to really take a moment to put a stall on everything, realize what's happening, evaluate if that's in the direction that you were intending to go, continue going, or get the heck out of there and move on to something else. Those are the two options, and those are the ones that are the major benefits of no longer being patient. And, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of this episode. I told you it wasn't going to be super long. I told you. It's still a little bit longer than I anticipated, but it's actually pretty compact. So, anyway, again, thank you so much for joining me on the Real Positive Girl podcast. My name is Sabrina, and happy Thursday. I really hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did and you know someone else that would really enjoy it, I encourage you to share it with them. I really hope you do that. Also, please check the description box for any notes for the show, where you can find me on Instagram, and my email address if you have any questions, comments, or concerns that you want to share with me. Tomorrow's episode, Friday, we are going to wrap up this week of talking about patience by talking about how to up your patience game, i.e., how to become better at being patient. So I hope that you come back and join me for that. But until then, have a great Thursday. Enjoy your day. And I really hope that you come back tomorrow. So until then, have a good one, everyone. Bye.